This video is going to be a bit of an unboxing, although I've already taken it out of the box, and it's a kit that you have to construct, which I've already started. And it's of this one here, the Yardley McLaren M23 from 1973, and the Denny Holm Yardley McLaren. So beautiful box, great kit. If you're familiar with this SRC, you can buy this as a complete kit, but it can be quite expensive. But going on to the actual SRC site, you can buy this kit at a very reasonable price, which I'll go into detail. Now, before I get into this, I thought I'd just show you some of the other SRCs that I have in my collection. I've always been very impressed because it is an offshoot of fly slot cars, and always very impressed with the detail and the scale accuracy and everything, and their performance is pretty good too. So we'll start here with this Ford Capri. Really went for this because Jackie Stewart, Francois Savert, big Tyrrell fan, and those are the team drivers in '73. And this is the Ford Capri that they raced in a other series, which is excellent. This was a recent acquire. I think I've shown this in a video that this was from a swap meet last summer. And this one is the Porsche 914 6 GT. And this is from Le Mans, and beautiful, beautiful model. Then I have this Porsche 907 Longtail, which again, beautifully done. The detail, the photo etch windshield wipers and such. I mean, the detail's just remarkable. And full cockpit engine. They kind of use the fly philosophy of putting the motors where the engines really were on the cars. So really, really nice. I mean, look at the yellow glass and the engine detail. Spectacular. And then they came out with some Formula One cars. So this Jody Scheckter, the Ferrari 312 T4, spectacular. There's the Monaco version. Even underneath, look at that spaghetti of the exhaust underneath. And just the coloring and everything is spectacular. They even have the markings on the tires that would have been used at the beginning of the race or during practice. Working steering. The Formula One cars are working steerings, the others don't. But very, very nice, and incredibly detailed drivers in there as well. And then even more spectacular is this René Arnoux Renault RS10. Just the tampo printing, engine detail, everything on this car is just magnificent. Just cannot be beat. And again, all that detail, even the ground effects Venturi channels on the sides are replicated here. Just incredible. So it was those Formula One cars that really inspired me to attempt this kit of the Yardley. And again, just remarkable detail, as you can see. And the reason why I'm doing this kind of unboxing, I'm already well underway of building it, but I'm going to kind of take it apart and go through because I couldn't find, well, one, it doesn't come with any instructions. It comes with a whole bunch of pieces, and try and figure it out. Try and figure out where everything goes. So I thought maybe it's time somebody puts a video together on where all the parts go. And hopefully I got it right. I think I've still got a few parts I'm not sure of, but we can review that together. All right, so I'm going to go from here to my workbench where I'm underway of constructing that Yardley F1 car. Well, here we are at the workbench with the project already underway. Now, the complication here is that not only did I buy that kit, which comes with everything, but there's a lot that you have to do in that you have all your decals here that have to be applied. Now, when I ordered that, I also saw that you could buy pre-decorated parts. Like this body kit here was already decaled, so I didn't have to do that. This Airbox here, already decaled and ready to go. So I figured, okay, I will grab that. But what I didn't realize, each of those come with detailed parts as well. But the main part of the kit, and it's kind of what I want to go over, is what we have here. And the nice part about this is that the chassis is complete and ready to go. So you can see the back end here. Hopefully you can see that. Let me see if I can get my lighting sorted out here. Should have fixed that before I started. But nice brass fittings. We've got nice metal gear, both the crown gear and the pinion gear, all nicely done. We have some little metal parts here, photo etched. Same with these. Now these I installed. These are little radiators that actually fit into the side pods of the car here, which is very nice. And the front end, super detailed. And what I found once I took the body off, all this assembly just falls apart. And it's quite intricate. It does have working steering, which a little bit of an issue. It's awfully stiff. So I've been working away at that, oiling it up, and I think I might have to trim a little bit, file down just to get that to work smoother. But the detail is even crazier if I can get this focused here. Yeah, you can see at the air intake of the brakes, hang on, I get my focus on here. There's even little springs in the suspension inside by the wheel there, if you can see that. So quite remarkable. And this assembly would all come apart and these springs were everywhere. I had no idea where they went until really taking a close look to figure it out. Now, the challenge with all this is no instruction sheet. So once I started building and realized there's no instruction sheet, and as I started to figure out where things went, I thought maybe there's an inspiration for a little video, because I could find nothing. No videos as well as the instruction sheet or anything else. So I thought I will put that together and show what I figured out so far. And yeah, hopefully by the end of the video I will have this together and we'll have a finished project. Now, what helped in the process here, trying to figure out how this goes together and what goes where and what all these parts are, is that I happen to have a 18th scale of the exact same car. Now, this is the Jody Scheckter version, but other than that, the decoration, the sponsors, everything is exactly the same. The specs on the car, seeing where all the suspension is. This is what was really helpful, because it's very complex in the back end with the rads and all the suspension and the exhaust pipes and things. All this was separate in the SRC kit, and this really helped figure out where everything went and how it would assemble. And also, what was great is, now again, this disassembles so you can see details inside here, which was great. And the same with the cowling comes off and you can see what's going on. So this is really good. Just seeing placement of decals on the driver, just a paint on the driver, because everything was white, nothing was painted up. But I've got to say the decals are excellent on this kit, the SRC, the slot car. And again, these 1/18 scale metal die casts that I collect, they all come pre-assembled, so you don't do anything. That's why I like when they all come apart, so you can see that detail. That's really come in handy for this one, because as you can see, or hopefully you can see, that it is an exact duplicate to this kit, which is fantastic. Now, even this pre-painted body here, all decaled with the sponsors and everything, there are some missing on the side here, you can see here. But if I look at the decal sheet that came with the non-decaled body, it does come with those. So I can use those to place in here, which would be excellent. So one of the first things I did is try the decals, because one of the frustrations I think I've found over the years is the quality of decals can be very lacking. And I was always, was concerned for this one particularly, because I really didn't want to mess this one up. Now, on this one, it came, yeah, I got to talk about the spare parts already decaled and everything. This rear wing came separately and it was all decaled. So I tried that one and tried doing the decal. And doing it properly, What was really nice, the finish on these parts. They do look, if not painted, they do have a nice gloss coat on them. So I felt safe that I didn't have to do that stage of pre-gloss coating. So I put down the decals using my micro set and microsole to make sure they laid in really well, and then gave it a good spray of the clear gloss, and it actually worked fantastic. So really, between these two, you really can't tell the difference. So I was very happy about that. And then I got a spare. You can't have enough wings and things, because if you out to run this kit at speed and in competition, something bound is going to break. So there we go. So next on that, I think once I saw that the decal worked on that, my next thing of interest to me is I wanted to work on the detail of the driver, which I have here sitting in the seat of the chassis of the car. It all was white, so I used flat acrylic paints to paint the, let me get in focus there, to paint that up. And again, I had my big model back there to give me some color reference as well as photos and the placement of all the decals, and they look fantastic. There was a little one here on the chest, but trying to work out this harness here, safety harness, it went missing. It popped off and I can't find it. So that's it. And then the helmet. Really nice detail. The decals on that were fantastic. But I did give this a clear coat and did the decals on it, and then gave it a gloss coat after that. So super, super nice. Really think that's a great job. Now, a nice little detail they've added on this driver, I'm not sure if I'm going to use it because it kind of hides some of the detail, is that they give you the bottom portion of the balaclava that drivers put on, this fireproof balaclava that goes over their whole head, mouth and nose, but leaving the eyes open. And then if I put that on top, you can see that you got that full effect. But it does take up some of the decal there. But then the seatbelts, once I get them in, they're going to be taking up a fair bit of space, and that as well. But just amazing, the detail on that. Now, the one thing, yeah, there's certain details, and I still haven't figured some out. And one of those is they give you the gear shift. And I cannot figure for the life of me what that's supposed to attach to. There's like no room here. There's nothing in this open cockpit of the car. Still trying to figure out how that's going to assemble. Other pieces, I think I'll get into the engine. I will cut away here and get in close so we can see this whole back assembly. Okay, well, hopefully this is clear, close enough and clear enough so we can see what's happening. First, I think I'll take the back end off. There is a, where are we here? There we go. A crankcase here at the back that I hopefully will pull off. There we go. And that rear wing assembly. Sorry, I'm so close I can't keep things in camera. So here we have that rear wing assembly. There we go. So it pulls down. So we've got that. So on the back end, and let's see if I can get this sorted out. We have a suspension piece, which I've got to get my little tweezers here because it's all so tiny. That snaps in at the top to the crankcase. And attached to that, and there it goes. It's amazing how everything ends up on the floor. It doesn't take long for things to pop off. There we go. And they have springs, everything to it, which is really nice. Fine detail. Even again, I haven't really shown this crankcase here, but even its assembly You can see it's got the little light on the back. Again, nicely painted, nicely detailed, and very well done. Now in the back here, we have the rear radiators. Now I had to paint up the silver portion because everything was black back here. So looking at my big die cast, I saw that, yeah, the radiators core were silver. So got that to work out. Now when we get into here, we have the heads of the cylinder heads here, these plates. So once you get those cylinder heads off, there's really amazing photo etched metal pieces here that fit in. And the detail on this is amazing and so finely done, just fantastic. And then you have this piece here, which fits above in that. And if I spin this around, if I can keep things in check, is the exhaust pipes. So it comes two-piece. They come black. I paint them up silver, even though on my die cast they're black. I really want them to show up, see that detail, so we can see them. And I was a bit concerned that there was nothing in here to show the rest of the motor. But it all lines up. Let's see if I can get that in here. If I can get this to line up. That when you assemble this, let's see if I can, oh, it's going to be a trick. Yeah, maybe I can get that in here. Maybe not. There we go. When you get that together, you can see the actual electric motor in there, kind of, but on the track and in the right angle, yeah, I don't think you're going to see any missing motor parts back there. But again, that incredible detail, all that motor, when you put all that together, and it's amazing, incredible detail, but I keep thinking of it as a model kit, but it's a slot car. It's astronomical how amazing the detail and the amount of effort and pieces and things you put in. But all of that motor, once you have all the pieces in and all set up, that when all that's done, you put this airbox on there and you can't see most of it anymore. And again, being a slot car, you want to race that around. So this is either going to be, you know, those tabs are going to be hot melted into the body or glued in. So it's not coming off for you to appreciate all that detail in there. Another reason why I thought I would do this video, so you can see just what is involved in the construction of this, because just looking at the finished product, you can't appreciate everything that's been put into it. Little details, which is amazing, is you can see this little notch here in the transmission. And the whole point of that notch is so when this airbox is put in place, it fits in to that notch. So if we can see in here, so it fits in perfectly. So if I take that off, you can see where that fits. So just brilliant. And honestly, this is a close-up in the video, but in reality, everything here is so tiny. It's just crazy. Now, to reassemble this motor, a lot of, again, no instructions, so you really got to try and figure out which way pieces go. So one of the first pieces I put on is this, which is the electrical box, and I'm not sure what these rest of these pieces are. But through trial and error, a number of times I found you have to put it in this way around so that these pieces are on this end facing this way. There's indents for it. It fits nice and tight. It does fit the other way, not very well, but then the other pieces don't fit. So it's making sure you get this not only assembled, but in the right order. So this kind of goes in first. Then loom in here. Make sure we're putting this in the right way around. And again, you notice you have this the right way around because this will fit in and there is an indent. So let me see if I can fit that. There we go. So the parts do go together really, really nicely when you get them in the right way around. It's just, you know, I've gone through all that trial and error. So here, now we'll put in this wiring loom so that this part sits on top. It seemed to work out the best for me to get that to work out. And then we're pretty much ready to go. And then underneath, if we could take a look at this side of the exhaust. It's two pieces put them together, and two of the exhaust pipes come up with two little inserts here, and they fit great underneath. There we go. You can see there's two holes here and then two on this side so that you get the exhaust up in there. And then, yeah, almost forgot. Here's another complication of order of things, is that we have this whole suspension loom here. The actual springs, everything here, they're a bit of a tight fit because they've got to go on either side, down on either side of those brass fittings for your axle. So once you got that in so far, and again, now it's making sure that these ends are underneath, inserted into the body, and getting them in the right position. And then that should free everything up that you can get these inserted. So there's two holes to insert here, and there's one on this side to insert this in. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, once that's in, it all makes sense and fits in nicely. Now the last thing for all this assembly is the radiators in the back. These would be the water radiators. No, these would be the oil radiators, because the water ones are in the side pod that we saw photo etched and folded up and placed under the body. Now this has a little hook to it, and there is a little space in here. Now the question was, does that go over top of this anti-roll bar, part of the suspension loom here, or underneath? And I think I found going underneath. So maybe better to assemble this first, but getting that in there, there we go. That seems to go in better if you take it underneath, and then that would have to be glued into place because it is quite loose, even though it's held in place by the suspension here. It'd probably be better if well, everything should be glued in, because again, it is a slot car. I keep thinking of a static die cast of how this would go together. And then you would get the rear wing, which again has a tab back here, and it fits in. And let me see, where does it go? Oh boy, yeah, it fits in and then up so that it's located. Put that back down, and then you would get the crankcase and fitting that in the back. And which way around that would go, that's a question too. So yeah, there's two little holes on the back of it. There's two little protrusion pieces here. So it's trying to get those lined up. There we go. So that all worked and got into place. So the final effect is amazing. The amount of detail on this, which is fantastic. But here you got all this detail. I haven't done the other side, but all that detail, and then you put this on here, the airbox, and it hides so much of that detail. It's kind of a shame. And again, you'd want to fix that all down because you don't want all these parts flying off when you're racing around the track. So yeah, it's kind of a shame, but at the same time, it's remarkable they went to that detail. Now this was a confusion to me too, since we're looking at the airbox here. Let me move this aside. There were two pieces that came, and I've got double of them because I got the kit for just the airbox, and I got the kit, the pieces that came with the overall car kit. So what came here is this little photo etched metal piece and this red, which I believe is photo etched metal as well, and trying to figure out where that went in the car. And I've kind of come to the conclusion it goes to the airbox So this piece inserts up into the airbox. And again, that definitely have to be glued because it doesn't want to fit particularly well. And yeah, it just doesn't want to stay. So you get that in there. So that kind of finishes this side, which you really don't see when it's all assembled. And it's got, yeah, I'm not even showing you here. And it's got these little two etched parts that show through these openings. So super fine detail. But what's crazier in that fine detail is this piece. And I was trying to figure this one out. And my knowledge of Formula One and particularly this era, that this here would be the electrical switch. So if a car had crashed, somebody can come up and pull that and shut the car off. And that's what the E on the side here is, electrics. And there is an actual hole in here. So I figured, okay, somehow this got to sort out. And I, for life of me, still can't quite figure out how all these pieces come to that conclusion. But what I've done, and seems to work, is I folded that, what really comes across, works out to be a handle. And that is going to come up, and that handle would fit through that hole, and then gluing that assembly together. But wow, talking about fine detail. And I really stress that being fine detail because here on this 18 scale die cast, yeah, it's just a little tampo print on there to indicate that. So even in 18 scale, in a high-end die cast, they haven't gone to this detail of putting this little electrical pull tab into the airbox. So just crazy. So next we'll take a look at the cockpit and how the driver, steering wheel, and everything goes together. Even though to this point, I still haven't figured out how that gear shifter is going to fit. Couple details between the extra body here that I have here. Not only has it got the decals, the cockpit surrounds all been pre-painted in silver, which the other had not. But with this pre-painted one and pre-decaled, there was no instrument panel, but I found it on the decal sheet for the kit one that needed painting and decaling. So that was an extra bonus. So really finishes off the cockpit very nicely with those instruments. Okay, I think I have a plan and ready to tackle the cockpit and getting the driver and all the components into the car. So the big debate here is what order to do things, because it is quite complicated and minimum space. Now we do have a safety harness here, and that's part of the complication. Now this is very rubberized, and the silver all had to be painted on, as this was just a blue molded piece. We have a piece here that has to go underneath and into that cockpit, of which we have a hole here for the driver to be secured in, and then these two areas here and here that the harness is going to fit into. Also, we have two slots here and here in the back of the seat, which the top part of the harness has to fit into. And in with all that, we've got to be able to get the driver around the steering wheel. So making sure that these pieces all are accounted for. I had already dropped this on the floor, and in the process of looking for it, I stepped on it and bent the wheel in quite the odd angle, but I got that straightened out, and hopefully not going to do that one again. Now, the real mystery I still have no solution for is this. Let me see if I can get that. Is this gear shift and where that's going to fit in. I think that's going to be sorted out after I get everything else in, which is of higher importance. This is so small, and all these components fit in so tight, I don't know even if I could find where it goes, if it would even be noticed. But anyway, and as previously, we did have a decal sheet, so I got a nice detailed dash now with the instrument panel and such. So first step is going to be gluing in, or you can heat weld this piece into the two pieces underneath. All right. So here's progress on the cockpit and the driver. Got him in position. Now, I couldn't do that on camera because it was so intricate and so hit and miss. I had several tries to finally get it to this stage. And on top of that, I couldn't edit out all the swearing involved. But let me describe how that worked. So the seat belts that you can see in here, that is pulled through, and it's really keeping these pulled through because you got to do this first because there's no room to add these after you put the driver in place. So I put the driver in place, and the next tricky part is that the shoulders are above the seat and everything else goes below, and the body of the driver is this. You can't see it here, but there's a little nub here which has come through, and that is securing the driver into the seat. So to get all that to happen properly, you got to have the steering wheel in the right place, and nothing fits. So I actually had to dislocate the steering wheel from this piece, bring that steering wheel here up to the column, and then once the driver was in, I could place this and get this back in position, and it actually worked pretty good. So once all this in place, the next is going to be putting this harness in back here. Very tight fit, and I don't know why they made these so long. Quite ridiculous. But anyway, so get these in position, and again, off camera, I will complete this, snug up the harness, and as you can see, it comes through on this side, and it's pulling through as best you can. This tweezers aren't working. I'll have to grab that, so I got to do this off camera. And then it's securing these once they're very, very tight and secure on the driver. Okay, success. I did get the belts on and secured. I glued them from underneath at these points here and underneath the driver. Also managed to locate and glue in the gear shift lever. What I decided not to use is this balaclava piece that would fit in around the neck. It interfered quite a bit with these belts, so I figured it looked cleaner without it as well. So my choice here is to just attach that helmet direct, which I think looks really nice and clean and works really well. So next step is going to be working on this cowling. I have to decal this one up and clear coat it, put the side mirrors on and the glass segment here, and we're getting close to finishing it up. I have the cockpit surround done and ready to go. Thank goodness I had the 1/18 scale one to use as a guide. This is the one that I had to do the decals on. All the rest of the pieces that I'm using were the spare accessories that I bought that already had the markings, decaling already done and tampo printed on there. This one I had to do the decaling water slide, and I was nervous about that, especially this fine pinstriping on here, but it came out pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. And my major concern was gloss coating. I had a lot of disasters in the past with that, but this worked out extremely well, so I'm quite happy with that. So this one's ready to go, and my Airbox is ready to go. Again, I'm using the existing one, or the spare that came. Had to add this piece and the little tiny pull electrical tab inside here. But what I have to get used to now is this detail in here. Last time I'm going to see it, because next step is going to be gluing this into place, and then the surround here. Let's see if I can locate that. Yeah. Gluing that into place. So I'm not going to be seeing a whole lot of detail within the cockpit. But very, very nice and super detailed. Couldn't be happier with this. But once those things are glued into place, It's a matter of putting it on the chassis, and away we go. So I'll go over that finish as soon as I get these parts all taken care of and into place. But if you haven't done the kit, at least showing this process, you can appreciate what you can't see into this car. And when I look at the price of how much the completed car is, or the kit one, yeah, the kit one was a great price, but the amount of effort put into it, you know, maybe it is worth that extra money and just buy it already done. But what's nice about working on a kit is that you really appreciate the detail and things that you might not have even realized was there. And hopefully this video gets you into that detail and appreciate what's been produced. So in conclusion, here's the final piece, which I'm extremely pleased with. An exceptional model and slot car that is super detailed, even compared to the 1/18th die-cast, which is quite surprising. But absolutely exquisite all around. The only real disappointing on having the kit is there is no instructions, which is my inspiration of doing this video, to help anybody who's ever gotten the kit. And as mentioned before, and a good appreciation to what has gone into this car. If you did buy the complete one, it's worth every penny, believe me. Now, my choice was to buy the kit and buy the tampo printed spare parts, of which I used throughout this particular slot car. Except for the surround, and I went over that, that I decaled and clear coated and put it together. Now, that leaves me with a spare chassis, air intake, and rear wing, and I'm starting to decal that all up. And I have clear coated the wing and the airbox. I will continue that. And one of the reasons why I went with the tampo printing is I fixed this to the chassis and gave it a few laps, and right off the bat I chipped a decal on the front. And again, I didn't have it clear coated, but there is that vulnerability, of which I won't experience on this one here. So all in all, yeah, absolutely spectacular, especially if you're a Formula One fan. You'll really appreciate this. Actually, the other two Formula One cars that SRC came out with, the Ferrari and the Renault, are as detailed and proportionate and fantastic. And having put this together, I appreciate those other two, which I have in my collection, even more. So anyways, we'll sign off on this one, and till the next one.